Hey, Beau, if asking why is so important for human creativity, should we expand on that and start asking more whys about our subconscious experience, such as dreams?
So it's a really good question. And should we be asking why, not just of our awake experience, but of our unconscious or subconscious experience? I mean, it seems kind of an oxymoron in some sense, because if it's unconscious, how can you ask the why of that thing? Well, this makes me think about journaling. And often when we journal, we think about the who, the what, the where, and the when of our experiences, whether those experiences be during the day when we're awake or at night when we're dreaming. So many of you will keep a dream journal. And it's really important to keep track of this data, but it is just data. And your brain doesn't work on just data. So you need something else, I would suggest. And that something else is why. And why do we do this? Is because data is inherently meaningless. It's useful, but it's not meaningful. And your brain works at the level of not data, but the meaning of that data. And to convince you of this, that this has to be true, I will do a quick demonstration. So I'm going to hold up my finger, right? And I'm going to move it towards you until my finger and my head are projecting to the same size on your retina, okay, which is about there. Now, remember that the only information your brain receives, light information your brain receives from the world, comes from your retina. And at this time, your retina is telling your brain that my head and my finger are the same size. But you know that they're not. But you don't know it from the data. The reason why your brain knows this is because it's interacting with the world in the past, and not just your past, but the history of your ancestors, etc. So when your brain gets this information, it doesn't see the information, it sees the meaning of the information, which it's constructed through history. So to understand yourself, to understand another person, is not simply to understand what you did, where you did it, when you did it, how you did it. It's to understand why you did it. And that's why you should ask why of your lived experience, of your awake experience, and also of, for instance, your dreams. Because when we dream in particular, it's fascinating. There's lots of reasons for why we dream, and it's an ongoing question about why we dream. Because think about it, for hours you are completely vulnerable. There's tremendous potential cost during evolution to sleeping. It must be essential for our survival. And one of the reasons is because it helps you become adaptable. During the day, you have this diversity of experience. You meet lots of people, you hear lots of noises, all this diverse experience, but not all of it is meaningful to you. And so, how can your brain discover that meaning? Well, one of the reasons, or one of the ways it does this, is during REM sleep, when you're dreaming. What your brain is doing is it's looking for the integration across that information. And it's when you integrate across diversity that your brain finds principles. And those principles transcend context. That's what enables you to be adaptable. So when you sleep and dream, you're actually becoming potentially a more adaptable person. It's one of the reasons why you wake up in the morning with sometimes some great ideas. It's because your brain continues to work while you're unconscious. You might be consciously unconscious, but your brain has not stopped functioning, right? It's looking for those principles. It's looking for that integration across that diversity of experience you had during the day, which gets you prepared for engaging in a world that's constantly changing, constantly uncertain. So, yes, ask why, not simply to better understand the motivations and the purposes of your life and what wakes you up in the morning and gets you out of bed in the morning. Is to help you understand the principles, the laws of physics that are specific to you, that enable you to engage in the world. You know, what are those laws of physics that drive your perceptions and behavior? And we discover them by asking why of our conscious and our unconscious experience. So thanks for listening.